following program is a production of the Alabama Cooperative Extension Service.
Are you playing tag with harmful bacteria? Could be. This kitchen may look spotless, but it's a veritable playground for microorganisms that can make your family really sick. Food preparation areas need to be kept scrupulously clean, and that doesn't only apply to home kitchens. Kids and dogs don't run in and out of restaurant kitchens. Nevertheless, those same bacteria are lurking, just waiting to tag an innocent customer. There are some simple precautions that need to be taken to prevent foodborne illness. First of all, as in the home, the kitchen and everything in it, including the workers, should be kept as clean as possible. Workers' hands are perfect vehicles for carrying organisms that are too tiny to see from one place to another. That's why each worker should wash his or her hands with soap and hot water after touching food items. Also, hands should be thoroughly washed and dried with disposable towels after handling surfaces and equipment that have come into contact with food. And those utensils and countertops should be cleaned to remove food and other particles, and sanitized to kill bacteria after use, too. Harmful bacteria can also live on clothing, so it's important to keep uniforms clean. If rule number 1 is keep clean, rule number 2 is keep hot food hot and cold food cold. Bacteria thrive in temperatures between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. In fact, this temperature range has been called the danger zone. To prevent the growth and spread of bacteria, food must be kept either cooler than 40 degrees or hotter than 140 degrees. Here are some tips to help avoid the danger zone. Thaw food in the refrigerator or in the sink under continuously cold running water. If you thaw food in the sink, keep the food inside a watertight plastic bag. If you've thawed frozen food in the refrigerator, don't leave it out on the counter before cooking. Instead, move it quickly from the refrigerator to the stove. Finally, cook and serve food at temperatures above 140 degrees. High food temperatures reached in boiling, baking, frying, and roasting kill most food poisoning bacteria and toxins. Cooking temperatures usually reach from 165 to 212 degrees, well out of the danger zone. But serving temperatures may dip dangerously low. Steam tables and chafing dishes are designed to keep foods warm, but they don't always keep foods hot enough. So it's best to serve food within 2 hours of cooking. We've already said workers can transfer bacteria on their hands. That leads to another big problem area called cross-contamination. Basically, cross-contamination occurs when those tiny little bad guys move from one food to another. Not only can human hands do a good moving job, utensils and equipment too can spread bacteria around. Here are some ways workers can prevent cross-contamination. Store raw products such as meat and poultry on the lower shelves of the refrigerator. This will prevent juices from these foods from dripping onto other items. Use separate work areas for raw and cooked foods. Keep them as far apart as possible to keep cooked foods from picking up bacteria from uncooked foods. As soon as you use utensils, cutting boards, or work surfaces, wash, rinse, and sanitize them. This stops the growth of bacteria then and there. And of course, workers shouldn't forget to change gloves and thoroughly wash hands after handling raw food or anything that has touched raw food. The same rules apply to leftovers. Avoid the danger zone by cooling cooked food quickly. This keeps dangerous bacteria and other microorganisms from multiplying. It helps to use small, flat containers, no more than 4 inches in height, to store cooked food. Before they're refrigerated, these containers should be carefully marked with the name of the product and the date and time it was cooked. When the time comes to reheat the food, it should reach an internal temperature of at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Proper reheating should kill most bacteria. Like we already said, bacteria are awfully tiny, but they can cause big problems for the human body. There are 20 or so food poisoning organisms, and any of them can make people very, very sick. Prevention is, quite literally, in the hands of the people who prepare the food, making sure it gets to the table safely. Let's take a look at 2 kitchen workers. You decide whether you want to eat in Restaurant A or Restaurant B. Marge works in Restaurant A, and Bill works in Restaurant B. Bill washes his hands with soap and hot water, but Marge scratches her head and gets to work preparing dinner. Tonight's steak is on the menu in both restaurants. Bill takes his steak off the bottom shelf of the refrigerator and takes it over to the countertop. Marge gets her steak off the top shelf of the fridge. She hasn't noticed that liquid from the steak has dribbled down onto lettuce kept below. Bill's job is to get the steak ready for the cook. He adds spices and rolls the steak in a flour mixture, wearing a clean pair of plastic gloves. Marge can't find a clean pair of gloves, so she wears the same one she wore earlier today. Nobody will know the difference, right? Wrong. Gloves should also be washed or they can contaminate foods. Bill's steak is ready for frying. After delivering it to the cook, he sets about his job of cleaning and sanitizing the preparation area. Marge finishes her job, too. She takes a rag off the sink and wipes down the countertop. But she doesn't sanitize it because, after all, it's just going to be used again. That's why, while Bill is washing his hands with soap and hot water, Marge is saving a little time by getting out the lettuce. She'll make the salad in the same place she prepared the steak. Bill takes his lettuce from the refrigerator and begins making salad, too. He's careful to use clean utensils. Of course, Bill has already sanitized his workspace. Marge uses a knife she found in the sink. It's probably clean. Her hands feel a little wet from working with the steak, so she wipes them on her apron and starts chopping vegetables. Restaurant A, Marge's restaurant, serves just as pretty a plate as Restaurant B, where Bill works. But which meal would you rather eat? Marge isn't a bad person. Really, she's not. She just doesn't understand the importance of her job. Bill knows he plays a key role in keeping food safe and the people who eat it healthy. While workers like Bill and Marge are on the front lines, there are others who play an important part in food safety. Management may make a daily inspection of facilities, equipment, and workers to make sure the rules are being followed. The local health inspector may be around, inspecting or helping the business develop a good sanitation program. Remember, these little guys are always waiting around, hoping you'll do something wrong so they can go to work. Their business is making people sick. Yours is keeping customers, as well as yourself, healthy. It's a big job. But if you follow the basic rules, 1, keep yourself and your work environment clean, and number 2, maintain food at the proper temperature, you'll no longer be playing tag with harmful bacteria. So be a winner in the safe food game. After all, you're it.
The preceding program was produced by the Alabama Cooperative Extension Service.